National VIPs, President and Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Philippines, is Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Secretary of National Defense, Honorable Delfin Negrelo Lorenzana. Military VIPs, Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of the Philippines, General Andres C. Centeno, AFP. Commanding General, Philippine Army, General Romeo Browner Jr., Armed Forces of the Philippines. Commander ARISCOM, Major General Fernando V. Filipi, Philippine Army. Group Commander 9th RCDG, Colonel Patricio S. Tumales, Infantry, Philippine Army. Commission Office 92nd, CDC Major Elpajo V. Lumantas, Philippine Army. President GRMDCU System Dr. Delenda R. Lapot. NSTP Director Dr. Rachel J. Daniel. NSTP Unit Head Dr. Noel J. Lupicelo. Commandant GRMSU Army ROTC Unit Major Elijah V. Lumantas, Philippine Army. Assistant Commandant 2nd Lieutenant Nicanor B. Ognimaga, Philippine Army. Chief Clerk Captain Rotc C. Arcoimo, Infantry, Philippine Army. Tactical Officer Captain Cesar C. Bala, Philippine Army. Second Lieutenant Jupiter M. Villarose, Philippine Army. Senior Tactical NCOs Reservist. Admin NCO Sergeant General R. Lapot, Philippine Army. Tactical NCOs Reservist. Private First Class John Ray A. Maglasang, Infantry, Philippine Army. Staff Sergeant Gerald Rich H. Soto, Philippine Army. Staff Sergeant Michael Ray Elvin S. Boreros, Philippine Army. Sergeant Nancy E. Aranjuez, Philippine Army. Sergeant Maynard O. Comisila, Philippine Army. Private Rodel G. Patangan, Philippine Army. Private Richie A. De La Rosa, Philippine Army. Private Charlene A. Tagapan, Philippine Army. Graduate Military Assistant, Private Adams N. Sumalpong, Philippine Army. Private Nilobil Lagradela, Philippine Army. Private Jefferson Paglinawan, Philippine Army. Private Rico Jack J. Tawataw, Philippine Army. Private Glenn Mar G. Olinan, Philippine Army. Private Shahara May M. Halin, Philippine Army. Private Gisrael M. Pasculado, Philippine Army. Private Vincent Jubilee G. Cadano, Philippine Army. Private Ray R. Dayao, Philippine Army. Private John Ray P. Valladares, Philippine Army. Private Joven Ray E. Sakal, Philippine Army. Private John Fritz C. Cuenca, Philippine Army. Private John Paul P. Yorong, Philippine Army. Private Michelle D. Andicoy, Philippine Army. Private Vance Alester L. Pagasian, Philippine Army. Private Mark Gel S. Lagamon, Philippine Army. Private Glycel Faith D. Carino, Philippine Army. Private Glyza Claire C. Canuog, Philippine Army. Private Jessalyn Elopre, Philippine Army. Private Mabel B. Singkay, Philippine Army. BDE Corps Commander Cadet Colonel J. P. Montederamos, ROTC 1CL. EXO Disciplinary Officer Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Roderick L. Cadorna, ROTC 1CL. BDE S1 Adjutant Officer Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Bless T. Manlupi, ROTC 1CL. BDE S2 Intelligence Officer Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Ronald V. Bailon, ROTC 1CL. BDE S3 Operation Officer Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Ramel P. Samson, ROTC 1CL. BDE S4 Logistic Officer Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Sheila May P. Azores, ROTC 1CL. BDE S7 Liaison Officer Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Jamaica S. Lagodas, ROTC 1CL. First BN Commander Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Jomari T. Osabel, ROTC 1CL. Second BN Commander Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Jefford C. Ferigora, ROTC 1CL. 1st BNEXO Disciplinary Cadet Major Junmark T. Clemenia, ROTC 1CL. BNS1 Adjutant Cadet Major Kathleen Rose E. Apaw, ROTC 1CL. BNS2 Intelligence Cadet Major Jericho T. Osabel, ROTC 1CL. BNS3 Operation Cadet Major Jason A. Hamarolen, ROTC 1CL. BNS4 Logistic Cadet Major Maalona Jane B. Alfon, ROTC 1CL. BNS7 Liaison Cadet Major Chenli R. Silva, ROTC 1CL. 2nd BNEXO Disciplinary Cadet Major Brian P. Banuelos, ROTC 1CL. BNS1 Adjutant Cadet Major Rubilin B. Magnao, ROTC 1CL. BNS2 Intelligence Cadet Major Hansel D. Zuzobrado, ROTC 1CL. BNS3 Operation Cadet Major Raymark Olacay, ROTC 1CL. BNS4 Logistic Cadet Major Mary Joy C. Maghinay, ROTC 1CL. BNS7 Liaison Cadet Major Ruela Bernadette B. Quinlog, ROTC 1CL. Cadet Major Mary Chris A. Lidama, ROTC 1CL. Cadet Major Aaron J. Calasang, ROTC 1CL. Cadet Major Stephen J. F. Tacliad, ROTC 1CL. Cadet Major Juvenal P. Katilok, ROTC 1CL. Cadet Major Christian G. Sardane, ROTC 1CL. Cadet Major Ariane Faye N. Palangan, ROTC 1CL. Cadet Major Bobby Janela G. Cagnete, ROTC 1CL. Cadet Major Gino A. Carbonella, ROTC 1CL. Cadet Major Kent O. Dampaila, ROTC 1CL. Cadet Major Raymart S. Anyo, ROTC 1CL. Cadet Major Brittany D. Agit, ROTC 1CL. Cadet Major Rekman V. Cabanag, ROTC 1CL. Cadet Major Mark Jen L. Proceso, ROTC 1CL. Cadet Captain Lester V. D. Ikaw, ROTC 2CL. Cadet Captain Richard S. Zamoras, ROTC 2CL. Cadet Captain Joseph B. Meral, ROTC 2CL. Cadet Captain Erwin T. Palomares, ROTC 2CL. Cadet Captain Aurelio L. Flores Jr., ROTC 2CL. Cadet Captain Kent Roy F. Maghanoy, ROTC 2CL. Cadet Captain Ron Vincent A. Sumanduran, ROTC 2CL. Cadet Captain Jefferson N. Makiling, ROTC 2CL. Cadet Captain Blaze Jason H. Iting, ROTC 2CL. Cadet Captain May Angel Esconato, ROTC 2CL. Cadet Captain Raymar B. Bemos, ROTC 2CL. Cadet Captain June Kenneth B. Disherdo, ROTC 2CL. Cadet Captain Jonathan D. Gumanad, ROTC 2CL. Cadet Captain Kevin M. Dilicano, ROTC 2CL. Cadet Captain Linchi Kyle S. Abapo, ROTC 2CL. Cadet Captain Lavel Jane T. Baginsay, ROTC 2CL.